Folks, just a quick one. I just thought I'd start sharing some thoughts with everyone. I think this time of year is generally pretty great to start removing your ego from the game. And while this is something that I think is generally quite a good thing to do, I think this time of year rewards you the most for removing your ego and just kind of understanding more so that you're here to practice and you're here to learn, you're here to explore new things rather than try and get into the nitty gritty and refine a list. Like, it's more about like, hey, does this work? Do I like playing this? How does this look in the current metagame? Like, just basically throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. I think that's gonna do you best looking at this kind of stuff moving forward. You can also do that whole thing of like really pushing your caster and seeing how far you can push them to like kill them, what kind of tricky situations you're trying to get into. Like currently I'm playing a lot of Buck Hasker and that dude dies. That dude dies so easy. But if you play him really well and you abuse the terrain to your advantage, you can really just, he doesn't give a shit all of a sudden. Like he really changes the way he is on the field as long as you're abusing the terrain correctly. There's situations, we've been recording some games. I realized the mics hadn't been connecting to the camera properly. That's why the audio is so bad in them. So I'm trying out some different settings. But the situation in a game I had against Matt where I shut down more than half his army just because I had my feet in a position where he couldn't walk over the wall and he was at -2 speed already, and then he'd go back to the last legal position. All this kind of fun stuff in minefields, and like he just got really frustrated in the game, which sucks to be on the receiving end of that as a player, but to be able to see the power of this when used to like a really high effectiveness, I think that is really rewarding to come across the table and be like, oh, this is what I can actually do. I can probably lock someone out of the game. And you see a lot of those feats throughout, what do you call it? Throughout Old Umbre has a lot of negative speed feats, or a lot of just like protecting yourself so you don't get alphaed. And that's something that I haven't seen in a long time in a gun faction since the days of Mark II. And I think that used effectively is mind-blowingly backbreaking for some people. And you have to learn to play against it, because that kind of thing in a shooting faction has been out of the game for so long. Now we're seeing it back in the game. People are just gonna have to learn to play into it. And I think there's definite workarounds with it. Chimera is really hard for Gravediggers. I think that Cloud Wall, I'd recommend go listening to Full Tilt, where they talk to Peter Bates and they talk to Aaron Whale in the previous episode. Just the understanding of how cloud walls work in the scope of the game to really, really just put it to Gravediggers. And so like you either become very good at playing what deals with that, or you learn to build lists in such a way that that deals with that. So yeah, my little takeaway thought is play what feels good is the end of it. Like, the end of it. Don't be afraid to try new shit. Like, the game is so wide open at the moment. Every faction feels fairly good. Everyone is very divided, and it feels very opinionated. The opinions are so divided amongst people that and no one can actually agree on anything. And that means that the metagame is really healthy, is because people are arguing with what's good and what's not, and that's perfect. So play whatever's exciting to you. Like, one of my favorite characters in the game is Kayn, and I do enjoy the controlling playstyle, and the placement with the game really is something that affects the way I like to play. So Buck is just a natural thing that draws me to him. I'm enjoying the playstyle of Gravediggers, and while keeping my eye on Storm Legion. But I think one of the big things that is really going to surprise people is Kayn or Wintercore. I think that they are way better than people are giving them any like chops for, and I think they're going to surprise people soon. And Orgoth are just winning tournaments all over the world at the moment. So they're the early meta winners. And they're one of those things where they're asking a good question early enough that people have to actually answer it, and they're not used to answering it yet. So whether it be Sabrith or Auriax, and these kind of casters really will change the way you kind of approach the whole table. I know it's an exciting time, and on top of that, like, we always get the new scenario packet this time of year, and the scenarios are live, probably the most live scenario packet we've ever had. And it's weird to deal with, but you have to play your list in such a way, and you have to learn how you're going to approach the scenario packet, whether that be a scenario blitz and trying to keep ahead of your opponent, just trying to grind out those extra few points in their turn, or whether you're going to let them get ahead and then just alpha them so hard and then just keep in the game long enough to grind your way ahead. There's no wrong answer. It's whatever you find effective for you is how you're going to approach the game. So yeah, this is just little painting table thoughts, and we'll see if people go for this series. Thanks, guys.